Hello and welcome to Maltbox, the non-chill filtered whiskey blog. I'm Andy and this is whiskey review number 103. And what I have for you today is something very exciting. I am absolutely buzzing to be able to try this on camera for you guys for the first time. It's a whiskey that was released on the 9th of June 2020, bottled in May 2020. It is an English single malt whiskey from a distillery in London. A distillery in London of which I was a big fan of their previous release called Richard. It's this, the brand new Bimber Ex-bourbon cask release. Now this came on the same day as several other releases, several other single cask releases. This is not a single cask release, this is a vatting. And everything sold out quite quickly. This, however, I believe is still in stock as of recording today, which is the something of June. So, there it is. I mean, you can see I've taken the foil off. I've not actually had any of it yet because I just wanted to sniff it. I was on my way out of the door when this got delivered by Chris, my DPD driver, my faithful DPD driver. So this is bottle 142 of a total of 1,948 bottles. It is bottled at 51.8% and it was actually bottled on my birthday. Happy days. So this is batch 1, non-chill filtered, natural colour, 51.8%. Again, a vatting of various ex-bourbon casks. Let's see what it's got. Oh, my heart melts a little bit every time I hear that noise. Now, I have actually had the privilege of trying this a few weeks back at the Somerton Virtual Whisky Festival, where myself, alongside New Dram Drinker, some fellow YouTubers in the Whiskyverse, very, very good blog, you should check those guys out, along with Luke from the Distillery, we actually tried this prior to its release. So I say that I've not tried it, I kind of have, a little bit cheeky, however I've not tried this in the sense of my own bottle, my own very luxurious looking, fit bottle. I just love the Bimber style. It's got I think it's the same bottle, arguably, I could be wrong, that Compass Box uses, the same sort of like shape. And it sort of stands out, it's quite big, it's quite tall. So this is still quite a small release, I guess, when you think about other releases. You're looking at 1,948 bottles. That sounds like a lot, but in the scheme of whiskey, it's really not. I mean, if you think of like a Glenfiddich 12, for example, you're looking at tens of thousands in a release there. Just such a vast difference in size. So, Bimber Ex-bourbon on the nose. Oh my days. Right, okay. Now, if you've not watched the Richard review, I am slightly biased. I would recommend you watch it, because straight away there is an immediate similarity in the sense that that base core spirit really does shine through. It's lovely and spicy, it's lovely and rich, there's toffee, but also in this release there is exotic fruit, and there was a little bit of that in the Richard as well, but here I'm getting things like coconut, I'm getting vanilla, I'm getting pepper, I'm getting a little bit of pineapple, like pineapple cube sweets. And I'll be honest guys, at 51.8%, it is incredibly easy going on the nose in the sense that there's very little sort of like prickle, it's not particularly astringent. At the end of the day, it will be a young whiskey. I think the oldest whiskey that these guys actually have in stock is 4 years old at the moment. It's a young distillery. And I'll be honest, a bit with the Richard, it belies its age, it really does. There is still a little bit of a spirity influence there, which you could argue leans to its youth. However, for me, I like Bimber's core spirit style. It's quite heavy, rich, new make spirit. You've got some ginger in there alongside those coconuts and the pineapple. You've got, again, I've said before, you've got the vanilla, you've got a little bit of pepper, got ginger. You've almost got a bit of a citrus in there, but I'm thinking kind of like lime, maybe, actually. Which is quite interesting, just at the back. So I do have some water as well. I will try this neat and I will try it with a little bit of water. So with that in mind, I'm going to move on to the palate. Before I do that, probably should have done this, but natural colour, so there's the colour. A nice kind of deep burnished gold, as I'm sure it will be described as, on the Farrow and Ball colour chart. Some nice slow legs there on the glass, particularly on that side. Hopefully you can see that rather than my deformed face through the glass. Oh yeah, something almost sort of like Asian cuisine about it as well, going back to the nose there. Could be something like Five Spice maybe, or something like that. Can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe star anise. Oh, okay. Wow. So, this has been open technically as of now. I have not poured any out of here until this review. So, it's still got a lot of time to open up yet. This will change after a few weeks in the bottle, don't forget that. But initially for me, this big hit of spices right up front, very warm, nice big intro there. Nothing shy about this whiskey at all, it's straight in there. You've then got that vanilla coming in again from the nose, you've got that pepper coming in from the nose, you've got that orange zest, and we've got that kind of, there's something a little bit rye bready about it going into the finish, like toasted rye bread, really buttery toasted rye bread. The finish is incredibly long, it's still going, it's still warm down my throat there, it's sweet. Again, it's a little bit spicy. You've got the pepper in there as well on the finish as well as the front end. I'm going to go in for one more sip before I water it down with probably about, arguably maybe like half a teaspoon or something like that for what I've got left. If you can hear that, apologies, please Carl. They're not after me for a change. I mean, I've got like cinnamon, I've got, again, that really heavy, intense ginger. It's mellowed out a bit from the first sip. I mean, I've got to say though, again, it was big and heavy up front. There's no denying it. Straight out of the bottle, that is a big hitter. But it's still drinkable. It's like Richard. You could just drink it at this 51.8%. I can totally see why they didn't go for cask strength. That is not a proper cask strength bottling. It's, I mean, cask strength would be, you know, at this age, you're looking at 60 odd. So they basically watered it down to the volume that they feel best shows the fruits of their labour in the quality and style of this spirit. And already, guys, I'm a fan. I am a fan. There's a little bit of chocolate coming through now. Just on that finish. Which I did also get on Richard, to be fair. There are a lot of similarities already to the Richard, right? And I suppose there will be, because Richard casks do kind of share some similarities in the sense of ex-bourbon casks, freshly, you know, they've just been used. In America, you can only use a cask once for bourbon, and then that's it, they have to ship them off. That is why there is such an abundance of bourbon casks in the Scotch industry. They're very highly sought after, very well respected, because they're well made, they've only been used once, and then you can basically whack a load of influence on something straight off the bat. And, you know, recharring casks, rejuvenating casks is another way of adding that char, that heavy char back into a barrel, akin to what bourbon casks have and what they have in terms of their internal linings and basically the sugars within that wood once it's been charred basically imparts its influence on the spirit. Now, So basically, there is a lot of similarity. There will be, but this does still have its own character. It's a little bit lighter. The flavours are a little bit on the flighty side. It's not as quite as intense or as rich, I'd say, as the Richard. This is definitely a very similar, different whiskey, if that makes sense. So the water's been in there for about 2 or 3 minutes while I've been yabbering on. That's probably, again, I put about half a teaspoon in there because I think that's all it needs at that particular level. And immediately on the nose, wow, it's a lot sweeter on the nose for me now. That vanilla is really not overpowering, but it's sort of like overcome, I think, some of the background that it was playing without water. It was sort of like in the background, I think, but now it's very much at the fore. Got a nice sort of fruitiness in there. I'll be honest, I can't tell you what fruit it is. It's just very fruity. I'm thinking something maybe like just a mix of stewed fruit. And do you know what I'm getting? Lemon sherbet. There's something a little bit tart. There's something a little bit citrus. It's lemon sherbet. It is lovely. A little bit of heat just at the end again. Possibly a little bit of that ginger again. Let's see what it's got on the palate. So, the mouthfeel is still great. However, you can tell the difference compared to prior to adding the water. The palate has fallen for me in line with the nose. It's sweeter. It's not quite as spicy. The pepper's there, thinking sort of like white pepper as opposed to black pepper now though. You've got sort of like caramel, you've got chocolate, you've got coffee. You've still got that sort of like exotic fruity note in there as well, potentially with some mango now on the palate. Because you've got a very exotic fruit note coming out in the finish. And now it's kind of turning again a little bit and going back to that sort of like spiciness, that richness. I mean, the oak influence here is quite key. It is a young whiskey. I think they've got some pretty decent cask management down there in Bimber. So you can already tell that's come out of a really good cask. It's a small place. I'll be honest, I mean, I really do like what they do down there. And I said that in the Richard review. I think the English whiskey scene, as I've alluded to in other reviews, is really taking off, and there's a reason behind it. You know, English distilleries are carving out their own style, they're carving out their own production methods. I mean, Bimber itself is such an amazingly interesting distillery. So the owner and founder basically has an attachment to a carpentry business next door to the distillery, and basically what part of what he's done to bring his own sort of like take on the whiskey itself and the production methods is he made his own washbacks. They're amazing. You should see, you know, honestly, I will put a link in the comment section to a picture of these washbacks. They're amazing. Pine, really tall, open topped, so you've got natural air bacteria having an influence on the liquid inside of that as well. So they're not being closed in, they've been left open, so there's some like, you know, bacteria and things in the air that are going to have their own influence on what's going on in there. So he made those. That's pretty cool. I mean, how many distilleries in Scotland can you say have done that? They have to have people make them for them, and they don't have, well, they have a say in what they look like and what they're designed to do, but they don't choose the staves of wood that go into them. They don't do that. It's amazing. Like the scale of the distillery compared to what they have, the flexibility in a way that is afforded to them as a result is really cool. It is really cool. I'm just going to have one more sip. As you can tell, I'm really enjoying this. I am really enjoying this. I've got to say, one thing that I have noticed that I've not mentioned yet, there is almost a rummy quality about it. So rum, I find that you tend to get quite a lot of vanilla, bit of tobacco. You got your exotic fruits in there, and your sort of sugars, your molasses, and that's here as well. And I love it. It's great stuff. That's pretty much the summary. I love it. Really good whiskey. What I haven't touched on yet, and I do apologise guys, kind of got carried away with myself in the excitement of reviewing this for you. So as I said, this was released on the 9th of June. You can, I believe, as of today, which is Sunday. Okay, so if you're watching that back, you're thinking, well, there's many Sundays in a year. I think what are we on? The 14th of June, I think? Could be wrong. 14th of June? Let's run with the 14th of June. I believe it's still available on Bimber's website. It has not been advertised as of yet, as of today, the 14th of June, if that is the right date, on Master of Malt or the Whisky Exchange or the various other suspects. The single cask releases that were released with this sold out immediately. They all went. So there was a single cask Ex-bourbon, there was an Ex-sherry, and I want to say Ex-rum, but I could be wrong. I cannot remember what the other bottling was. And I just went for this one, to be honest. This is the one I was chasing, because at the end of the day, this is the one that is most akin to a core release, and that is what I'm kind of going for. I want to get that sort of like core house style and compare it to the Recharred, which was their equivalent first release. So overall guys, fantastic whiskey. It retails at £65 on Bimber's website, which is a lot of money for a young whiskey. However, I mean, I paid 65 quid for the Filey Bay Muscatel finish. For me, I'll be honest, this does beat that. Both very good whiskies, but in their own right. For me, this just ticks so many boxes in terms of its production methods, and also it's one of those whiskies that just speaks to you. You know, when you find a style of a distillery that you like, that's it. Then you know that you're going to go for it, and that's it. And you're going to keep track of that distillery and their releases. And Bimber for me is one of them. So well done, guys, at Bimber again for another fantastic whiskey release. Keep it up. And to you guys, thank you very much for watching. See you soon.